and welcome to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com, and my name is Jason JROCK Houston. It's my honor to be speaking with Ghost of Sunset drummer Todd Long. Welcome to the show, Todd. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And let me ask you, what time is it where you are? Because I'm talking to you all the way from beautiful Los Angeles, California, and I understand you're calling all the way from Holland.
Actually, I'm in Florida.
Florida, okay. Well,
that's sunny Florida.
Florida, oh, that's great. Okay. Anyways, Todd, tell us a little bit about Ghost of Sunset. How long have you guys been together as a band? Because to be honest with you, I never heard of the band until your publicist sent me a press release on you guys, and I checked out the current video, and we'll talk a little bit about that for the title track. But I'm just loving it. It's a great little pop tune. So how long have you guys been together as a band?
Well, the project started probably in, I'd say, like 2018 or so.
Okay.
I was still living in Michigan, and my wife is in the Coast Guard, so we travel around a lot.
And okay.
My partner, John Merchant, and I have been friends since high school.
Wow.
And one day he calls me up, and he says, I was out running, and I had this idea for a concept EP. Would you be into it? I was like, of course. We're friends. We've been there forever. And the concept EP is called Headed West, and that is about kind of like remember the show on VH1? The series. Oh shoot! No, I can't remember.
Well, I probably do because I used to watch VH1 back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, Behind the Music.
Oh, Behind the Music. Oh, wow. I just love that. Yeah.
Yep. And pretty much the EP takes a fictional band from the East Coast, and they go all the way out to the West Coast to try and make it, back in the 80s.
Wow.
And, so each track, there's like 6 songs on there. Each track, the first title track is called Headed West, and obviously that goes out west.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and the band makes it, and then they have their fall, and grunge takes over. It's all about the whole tidal wave of the 80s scene.
Well, I love that because, Behind the Music used to be one of my favorite things on TV. And, it's interesting if you know anything about, MTV or VH1 or anything like that. That used to be one of their most popular series, but they had to quit making new episodes because it just got so popular to make those episodes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's why I stopped.
Yeah, and then also I heard the same thing about the other show they used to have on actually VH1. It was Eddie Trunk's That Metal Show, and same thing. They did not get canceled either because of poor ratings or anything. It's just too damn expensive to produce new shows, and it's kind of sad that you could have that kind of success, and because it's so successful, they cancel the show.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it too.
And so let's talk about the new single. Like I said, it's a title track for your new album, and it is called No Saints in the City. Now, like I said, I listened to that. Great little kind of pop tune sensibility, but like it's really got an infectious beat, and you just can't get the tune out of your head.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's too to me when you listen to something like that. That's just like a great example of what great songwriting is.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's all the lyrics are my partner, John Merchant, and, I just played drums, bass, and some guitar on it. It's just the two of us,
So I understand this is a recording project, is that correct? Like, you guys have any plans to do any live shows?
And we talk about it every day, but it's just logistics. He's in Michigan, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
And money and
all that. Well, like we're talking about, money always has a way of getting in the way, But what's great about a project like this, in spite of that, you're still able to create it. So what was the process as far as doing the recording? I'm assuming because of the distance between you guys, you kind of do it the modern way, I'm assuming, where you record your parts and send it to him and back and forth?
Yep, it's all done via file sharing, and we usually try to have like a special guest guitar player on, for the guitar solos. So we've been fortunate to have Tracy Guns from LA Guns.
Oh, wow.
Alex Kane, who was in Enough's Enough, and
LSD.
Johnny Monaco, who was in Enough's Enough.
Yeah.
Sorry about my boy yelling at
me. That's all right. It's just life, right? That's everyday life. Yeah. Anyway, so are you at all involved in the songwriting, or did you say your partner's primarily a songwriter?
He's primary the lyricist, but we both write music.
Okay, and so I was curious. So you mentioned that you play bass and you are a drummer. So were you one of these guys that like you can play more than one instrument, obviously, or would you consider yourself primarily a bassist or a drummer?
Drums are my main instrument.
That's kind of interesting because when you look at any band, obviously the rhythm section is the bass and the drums, and that naturally goes together. You think that's why you are also kind of driven towards learning how to play the bass?
Yeah, I think so. I remember laying down bass to one song, and the bass tone was just really good, and we just kind of rolled with it. And John played bass on the new album on like one or two songs.
Okay.
I think. So
and
it's whoever does.
Yeah, and again, this is a recording project, so you can do like that, but just kind of to think about it in your head, that's kind of interesting. Like, you are the rhythm section, so to speak. You're kind of interlocking with yourself. That's got to be kind of a unique feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely different. On one of our songs on the EP, I had Bruno Ravel from
Danger. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
He played bass.
And so, all these like guys that you have as guest artists on your songs, are these guys you've known over the years, or did you just a matter of reaching out to them and said, "Sure, we'd love to get involved"?
We just reached out to them, and if they liked the song,
yeah.
If you don't like the song, you don't want to be a part of it, So
yeah.
Thankfully, they've liked the song and they wanted to be a part of it. And we did have a couple guys who didn't really. It's not that they didn't like the song; it's just that their style didn't mesh with ours.
So like when you get an Alex Kane or a Tracy Guns to play on your song, naturally they hear the song and they kind of get an idea what the song's about. But like you tell Tracy or Alex, kind of just put your stamp on it or do your thing, or you kind of tell them this is what we want you to do.
No, we just let them have free reign.
Yeah, and so how great is that when like you get a solo back from Tracy or Alex and you hear the final prog and you're like, wow, that's gonna go on our song.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the song you're talking about, No Saints in the City, that's Alex Kane right there.
Oh wow. And talk about the video, because again, a fun little video, and talk about VH1 and MTV back in the day. That looks like something you would have seen on those channels back in the day. I mean, really professionally shot. Was that shot in New York or LA?
That was, John and I were green screened.
Okay.
And then that footage is just, stock footage that you can purchase online.
Again, it looks professional. You think you guys were there, but that's and when I hear that, that's when I kind of really dig about it even more, is knowing, wow, that's stock footage, and you guys kind of just do your math. So, did you have a guy edit the video, or were you guys involved with that?
John did all that editing.
Oh wow, how cool is that? And so I understand, like you said, you and him have known each other since high school. I was reading another article on you guys somewhere on the internet. I forget what site it was from, but anyways, it was saying that you guys previously to Ghost of Sunset, you played in some cover bands early on. Talk a little bit about that.
John and I were in a cover band when we were in high school with some other buddies in school, and then later on we were in a alternative country cover band.
Wow.
And we did originals, and we had songs on like Sirius XM and stuff like that.
Wow, what I think about that is everybody, let's be honest, if you're a musician, typically that's how people get their start in music, is playing other people's stuff. And I got a huge amount of respect for that, because first of all, I'm a music lover, but I can't play an instrument, I can't play a lick of music, so I have appreciation for anybody else who can get up on a stage and play any song on the guitar or the bass or the drums, So because that even, I don't think people realize that takes a certain level of talent as well.
Yeah, and it's still fun, it keeps your musical chops up, and you make a little money on the side.
And so tell me, because I've only heard of one song, which is No Saints in the City. Great little pop tune, like I said, I think people love it. It's got kind of a catchy tune, sticks in your head, but is the other songs on the album kind of similar to that, or different kind of sounds? Like you mentioned, you've done country music before in different styles, or is it a little bit of everything?
No, it's all pretty much rock and roll, no country or anything.
That's good, but see, the cool thing too about that is you can do more than one thing. I mean, I imagine that you probably gotten called, maybe to do a country song here or there or whatever, and oh, sure, I'll do it. You know, if it fits what I do.
Oh yeah, I'll do anything. I just love music, you know, just like you.
Yeah, and the cool thing about what you guys do, I think, is you know, having done cover tunes and you do your own original thing. Everybody wants to do the original music thing, but it does take a certain kind of talent. And I think, like you and John together, kind of, you got this magical chemistry. It's like you two guys come together and you do your thing, but you know, you just write such like, this is a greatly written song, and I hear this song and I'm thinking to myself, man, if this song sounds this good, I can't wait to hear the rest of the album.
Oh, well, the album is out right now.
And so how can people get a hold of that? Like, are you selling physical copies? Is it just available digitally or what?
It is available digitally and on all the streaming sites, but we do have a few copies floating around that you can just purchase from us. Our store is up on eBay, so if you just search Ghost of Sunset on eBay, then the CD will pop up.
Oh, that is cool. And so tell me, like, who, like, how old were you? You said you're primarily a drummer, so how old were you when you first started playing the drums? And do you remember what it was about the drums? Why did you choose that as your main kind of instrument?
Well, I remember taking lessons and being in band, like in 5th grade.
Wow. Yeah.
And my mom was a drummer, and my dad played bass drum, and so music has always been in our family.
So how big of an influence was that on you? I mean, like, did your mom and dad play professionally, like when you were, you know, growing up, or did they just kind of do it for fun?
No, my mom did it in school, and she taught me how to read music.
Oh, wow.
But her dad was a professional jazz trombonist, so he was out playing shows and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. So you come from that kind of musical background, and that's a major thing for anybody to be able to read music. Because I mean, I think people will be amazed to hear the fact that you know, the late great Eddie Van Halen, as great of a guitar player as he was, he could not read a lick of music. But yet again, look what that guy did with the guitar. You know, I mean, yeah, he was able to do what he was able to do, and went on to become a legendary musician. And you know, we're still talking about him. That tells you kind of he's really kind of you know, he did what he did and put a stamp on the music world.
Man, sure miss him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's hard to believe that he's you know, he's gone. But so who were your favorite drummers growing up?
Well, my favorite band was always Kiss growing up.
Oh man, you and me both. I mean, what I loved about Kiss, I mean, a lot of things, but you know, Kiss obviously is more than just 4 guys in their jeans and t-shirts. I mean, you go to a Kiss show, it's the ultimate rock show. I mean, you really are getting your money's worth. And the greatest thing to me about Kiss, they had the songs, had a great live show. They had something going visually, and let's be honest, that's why they took off the makeup for a while, but they put it back on, because really that's what the fans wanted, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, people laugh all the time about, you know, Kiss, they're not real musicians, but you know what? Those guys, they've been around 50 years. They got some.
Something, right?
Yeah, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I think the reason for that is you listen to any Kiss songs from throughout the 50-year career, great songs. Everything from, you know, Beth, Rock and Roll Over, Cold Gin, Nothing to Lose. Just so many great songs.
I agree.
And do you have a favorite member of Kiss? I mean, like, how big of a Peter Criss fan were you?
I wasn't really big into Peter Criss, but Paul Stanley was always my favorite, and then Ace Frehley was second.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is I'm not a huge fan of Peter Criss's drumming, but I actually think he's a better singer than a drummer, actually.
Right.
Yeah, and were you ever influenced by guys like you know, it's a different type of rock music, but like Phil Collins?
No, I was always into like the glam rock.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ricky Rocket.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Vicky Fox from Enough's Enough.
Oh yeah. You know, Vicky Fox, of course, he did Enough's Enough, and he went on to do like that one album with Vince Neil. So I think that was a great thing he got to be part of. But yeah, just so many of those guys you mentioned, just great drummers, you know.
Yeah, the showy stuff is what I like.
Yeah, and Ricky Rocket, like, you know, Motley Crue's on that stadium. I mean, Poison's on that stadium tour of Def Leppard and Motley Crue. And, you know, people say, you know, they really like to trash Poison because they were so glammed out. But what I liked about Poison, too, They had great songs. They put on a great show, and you know, they were one band that was. They used to call themselves the Glam Slam Metal King or something. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, they wore that so proudly on their sleeve. They were so proud of what they are.
Yeah.
And kind of like Kiss before, because they were very influenced by Kiss. They were so over top, you know, as far as the way they looked and sounded back in the day. You just couldn't help but take notice of them.
Right, and I hear they're stealing the show out there as well.
Yeah, in fact, I've been reading reviews saying, you know, Poison's actually getting the best reviews, like you said, and it's kind of, I think part of a reason for that is, it's been a number of years Poison's put out any new music, but they're one of those bands, kind of like Def Leppard, got such a great catalog of music that they really don't need to put out any new music, because what they got is just, they got all the hits.
Yeah, I would hate for them to put out a stinker of an album and ruin it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that kind of goes, you know, it can go either way, like Def Leppard. I mean, they put out a great kind of new album, and I dig the fact, is there another band that really doesn't need to release any new music? It's probably not going to hit the charts like, you know, Hysteria did, but it did go to number one, so I think somebody's buying the new Def Leppard out there, you know?
Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, and, you know, and they're kind of really heavily influenced by a lot of the British glam bands, because that's where they, you know, came from, of course, and in fact, the name of the new album, it's Halo something, but it's from a T-Rex song.
Yeah, the Diamond Star Halos, yeah.
Diamond Star Halos. And so, are you involved with any other projects, Todd, that you want to let us know about?
I'm just in a cover band down here in Florida, and that's all I do besides, you know, the Ghost of Sunset thing. So
when you're doing the cover band thing, you're doing some live shows with that?
Oh yeah, we play almost every week.
And so, what's the name of that band?
Jacked Up.
Oh, Jacked Up. And so, like, what kind of covers do you guys do? I imagine a little bit of everything, but like, is it more kind of hard rock stuff?
No, it's more pop rock stuff from like the 80s and 90s and 70s. Yep.
And see what and I'd imagine what makes a project like that cool is because, you know, it's one thing to go out if you were to do like a tribute band, and even if you're doing like a tribute to 80s rock or you know Motley Crue or something like that. The difference is you're paying tribute to one act, and I dig that too because I call that kind of a rock and roll theater, and I've gone and seen a lot of great tribute bands, but a band like what you guys are doing, I think is cool too because number one, you know that music, you know, like you're talking about, so many people grew up with that music, so it's a lot easier, I would imagine, doing one of those shows, and you're playing something somebody's heard off the radio, you know, a million times. People are singing along to the songs, whereas like even if you were to do a live show with Ghost of Sunset, as great as these songs are, a lot of people may not know them word for word, you know, and so they have to buy the album before they get to know the tune, and so it's a lot easier, I imagine, doing a gig like that.
Yeah, I feel like if we were to do some Ghost of Sunset stuff, you know, we'd have to piggyback a band that's bigger, you know, so we can get some people, because just getting our name out there it's pretty hard, you know. And
so as far as Ghost of Sunset, this is your second album, is that correct?
Yeah, first full-length album, and we had an EP before that.
And so the previous EP, can people get a hold of that, or at least go check it out online?
Yep, that's all on your iTunes and Spotify and stuff too.
And how do you feel about you know, digital music versus actual you know, like vinyl or CDs?
I'm a vinyl collector, but I love my digital just because it's so easy to get a hold of, you know. Like if I'll see an ad on Facebook or something for a band, I instantly, you know, type it into Apple Music, and well, there they are, so I can check them out. Yeah,
but I guess the cool thing too about digital sites is there are a lot of albums that are been kind of out of print for years, but you know, they're starting to become more and more available like digitally, and that's a cool thing for, you know, if you're a real diehard fan, you've been looking for something. But at the same time, I tell you, I am one of these old school guys because you know, that's kind of the era that I grew up in, and I tell you, I miss going to record stores. People might be asking, what's a record store? There used to be places you could go and buy music, folks. You didn't have to buy it on everything on Amazon or, you know, digitally. But of course, you got to move ahead with technology too. But I'll tell you, one thing I love about vinyl or CDs, reading the liner notes, the artwork. I mean, I remember talking about Kiss. The first time I saw Kiss Destroyer in the record store. As a little kid, not knowing anything about Kiss at the time, I didn't know what it was, but I do not know what the hell this is. It looks so cool. I gotta have it, you know.
Yep, and opening that gatefold to a live 2, you're just like, oh my god, these guys are larger than life.
And it's being that you're such a Kiss fan like me, this may be a hard thing to do, but can you even pick, like, do you have one or two favorite Kiss albums that you could kind of point to and say that's kind of the album that really did it for me? Or
it's blasphemy for a lot of people,
yeah.
But Unmasked and Dynasty are my favorite albums. Dynasty was the first one I ever got. Because my grandma bought it for me at a yard sale.
Yeah. Well, don't be ashamed. You know, cause especially Dynasty is not really that bad of an album. It gets labeled as being like a disco album, but really the only thing close to a disco song is "I Was Made for Loving You." But you know, I love that tune as well. But like, if you listen to the A songs, that's pretty close to what Kiss has always kind of done. You know, he's got, I think, 3 great tunes on there, and you know, Peter Criss is only on the one track, but I think for at the time it was a pretty decent album. And then Unmasked, you know, a lot of people kind of like you say, they, you know, oh no, that's, you know, that sucks. But if you listen to the songs, I mean, even, you know, all these years later, the album just turned, I think, 40 years old or 41 or something like that. And can you believe you know, that's telling you how long we've been around. But you know, that's an album that Kiss fans either love or they hate. It's got a great pop sensibility. Just
that's why I love it. The pop, it's just pure pop rock.
It's kind of bubblegum kind of pop, but you can't really go wrong with it. I mean, to me, they're like, there have been worse albums. Like not that I totally hate it, but like The Elder, I think, is a lot worse of an album than Unmasked.
Yeah, it definitely has a different thing to it.
Yeah, they're trying to be Pink Floyd or something, but like as far as The Elder, like one of my favorite tracks on there is like the kind of last song called "I." It's kind of an anthem, and I don't know why that wasn't released as a single or something, but
it's kind of a hard rock song. You know? It's
kind of a misjointed album, but Unmasked, I don't know why so many people trash it. It's a pretty good pop album, but I think
Then I like Crazy Nights too, probably because it's a poppy, and that was the height of the MTV thing, you know. So
it's funny you say that, because back when that was released, I used to, especially the title track, I loved Crazy Nights. And now the older I get, I kind of laugh, because I remember back when they were doing interviews for that, Paul Stanley was saying, "Oh yeah, go and get the new Kiss album, Crazy Nights. It's Destroyer 2." And I was kind of buying into that all at the time. But to me, the true album that you could kind of say is Destroyer 2, I think, would have to be Revenge.
Right, the heaviness of Revenge.
Yeah, well, Todd, I really enjoyed talking today. Let's keep in touch, and like I said, I will let your publicist Dave know, but I'm planning to post this interview we just did sometime within the next 2-week period, and we usually post stuff every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, so you can be on the lookout for it, and I'll hit you up on Facebook to let you know too. But since you're such a big Kiss fan and a rock fan like me, I also have this other series I want to let you know. It's for the same site, called On the Record. And for example, if next time we do this, if you want to talk about being a Kiss fan and loving the Unmasked album, we could talk about that in great detail, talk about the songs, why you love it so much. I would love to do that with you. Okay, so take care, Todd, and I will be in touch. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine